welcome to another solo episode of Real Estate Real Talk, where we give you the real tea on DXB Realty. This is brought to you by Al Homes, and I'm Duha Al your host. Today's episode is very special to me. We're going to talk to brokers. If you're just starting in the business, or if you feel like you're stuck somewhere in the process, then this episode is for you. We're going to cover everything from how to qualify your clients to how to actually build a long-term relationship, because everyone's saying that, right? But how do you do it? How to trust the process and how to make sure your pipeline actually turns into fruition, and tips and tricks to make sure you set yourself apart from all the other brokers in the market. So let's get right to it. Number one, and before I start this, actually, I want to mention one thing. Before being a real estate investor, before being a business owner, I'm essentially a broker. Being a broker is at the heart of my career, and until today, I close deals regularly and consistently. I have reached a point, alhamdulillah, where I depend completely on inbound leads, and I'm here to guide you on how to reach the same stage, because at the end of the day, that's what everyone wants, right? You want to not have to call and have your business bring you more business. So let's get right to it. Number one, which I think is a golden rule that I have seen here in the Dubai market is not really implemented that much, is shadow, shadow, shadow. When I first started my career, I used to go sit around people that I know are closers, or even just other brokers in the company, and just sit right next to them and hear them. And I would ask them, of course, can I hear your call? I would hear their call. It really helps having that third party or like external POV where you can actually objectively think about, oh, I think when he said this, that's what got the client to say yes. Or when he said that, that's what got the client to reciprocate or be able to book a meeting. That's shadowing on cold calling, and then shadowing on meetings. I would ask all of the top brokers to take me with them. I'd get rejected a lot, but that also helped me with handling rejection. I would ask every single broker that has an important meeting, opening meeting, a viewing, can I go with you? I'll help you. I'll take notes. I'll send the meeting minutes. I'll follow up with the client for you if you want. Can I go with you? I'm going to be a fly on the wall. I promise you I won't make it. I just want to go and observe. I want to go and see how this business is done by people who have been doing it and have actually been achieving results. It's very important to shadow. Not having a mentor in this business is like planning to fail. And I've noticed a lot of agencies kind of just throw the broker in the deep ocean, and that was happened to me as well, in the sense that I didn't have a certain go-to person. So I implemented the concept of shadowing. It's very important to have someone that you can go back to, ask questions, who is experienced, and who, most importantly, you believe in their abilities. Because if you're not convinced, then it's never going to work. So I can't stress this enough. Have someone, if it's one person, if it's two, if it's five people from your company who you consistently follow on everything that they do that's real estate related, that is going to save you so much mistake, so much time, and so much effort. We always hear, build a long-term relationship with your client. Build a long-term relationship. It's easy to say, but how do you build a long-term relationship? If you call the client and be like, hey, let's have lunch, or how's your daughter doing? It might come as a little invasive. I remember I once asked this client, I hope you're having a smooth pregnancy. And she's like, no, actually, I had a miscarriage and I don't appreciate you bringing this up. So it's a thin line between being human and being personal. You're not trying to be personal. You're trying to humanize yourself away from this business realm that you're in, right? So after a lot of mistakes, I've understood how to master the art of building long-term relationships. And the number one, or not even a rule, but the foundation of it would be to actually be genuine, be authentic. And being authentic, being genuine is the number one trait that attracts people to you. And that's it. You can't fake it. And I think that's why, even statistically speaking, I come from a background of psychology. Being genuine and authentic is the number one attractive trait. And I believe it's because it's the one thing, because you can fake anything else. You can fake being honest, you can fake being smart, but you can't fake being genuine. That's something that's picked up. Be genuine, be authentic. And the best way to be authentic is to be relaxed. Don't be nervous. So, the foundation of all the rules I'm going to mention is, just like I said, being genuine. Now, what are some ways to make sure you build a long term relationship? Number one would be, if you've managed to close a deal with this client and they got you someone else, make sure you actually go pay them something. Give them a referral fee. Yeah, give them that 5K. It might not matter to them, but you know what that says? That says, I am an honest person. I am grateful for what you did to me. I'm more than sure that he will bring you more business. So make sure that you give your clients who refer people, or even just acquaintances or partners in the market or connections that you have who get you clients, make sure that you actually give them a referral fee. And it's not in the money itself where the value is, but it's in the gesture and it's in the thought of, hey, I'm grateful that you made this happen. And here, being a broker is like being a business. Technically, you're an investor. In order to get something back or get an ROI, you have to make an investment, correct? And that comes in investing in your clients. When you're going to pick them up for a viewing, get them a cup of coffee. Spend that 20 dirhams, or is it even 20 cups of coffees? Yeah, spend that 20 dirhams. Get it for them when you're going for a viewing. When you close, inshallah, take them out for a celebratory dinner or lunch or breakfast, whichever suits your personality. Invest in your clients because they are your ROI. Another very important point, which might actually be hard, and I understand why it would be hard, but it's something that you need to do. Let's say your client has completely been convinced about Project X. They're willing to put down a payment or have even put the 2% refundable booking fee. You found out something about this project that's a red flag. Ask them to back off. Call your clients, go meet them, tell them, I need to tell you something very important. I found out that there has been this experience and I take full accountability for not knowing this beforehand, but it's good that we know it now. Let's back off. If you find your investor lenient towards a project, or if you've managed to mention a project to him that you know is not of value or is not going to fit the criteria of investment, don't tell them that. Cancel that deal. Canceling that deal will get you more deals in the future, trust me. Don't sell them something that will not give them the investment that they're looking for. Don't sell something with assumptions or projections that you are not 100% sure of. And that takes me back to another tip, or I wouldn't even call it a tip, but it's a practice. Put yourself in their shoes. Put yourself in your client's shoes. And this is something I consistently do until this day. I literally go like, okay, if I am Hassan and I have X million and I want to invest, is this what I would do? And if the answer is yes, go ahead. If the answer is no, ask yourself why. What do you need to be addressed to you for you to make this move? And those things address to them. And that takes us back to being authentic in your job, being genuine, and actually working for that pay that we get, for it to have barakah, you know? And I know some people, I mean, not everyone here is Muslim, of course, but I'm sure in all faiths and religions, this is agreed upon. To best understand what your client is actually looking for, you need to qualify your client, right? And recently, a rental specialist who just joined us a month ago, he had like 3 deals fall through, and I went and sat with him, and I was like, "What's going on?" You know. And the first one, at the last point, the bank refused to give the checkbook, and the second one, the Emirates ID wasn't out, and the third one, I don't remember, but it was a technical issue. And I was like, "Your mistake is very clear here. It's a pattern as well. You're not qualifying your clients. Your client might be interested. They might really be willing to take a project, but the technicalities or the logistics behind it still are not ready. And that in that way, you're burning yourself and you're wasting your time and you're wasting your buyer's time as well. What are some qualification questions that you can ask? Now, I think this is an activity that you can do with your team. Sit down and ask yourself, what are things logistically that we need to make sure are taken care of before we proceed to the next step. Off the top of my head, when we're talking rentals, is their Emirates ID ready? Is their checkbook ready? When are they willing to move in? Are they window shopping? When is their contract finishing? Are they looking for this so that when their contract finishes, they take it, which is 3 months from now, because it won't be available 3 months from now? Are all those logistics taken care of? Do they have a dog? I've seen deals fall through because the building wasn't pet friendly. Everything was good. Building was not pet friendly, and the tenants had a dog. They couldn't, of course, get rid of their dog and move in there, so they had to find something else. Like I said, sit with the team, come up with the most asked questions. When we did this, we came up with a list of maybe 15, 16 questions for rentals. When it comes to sales, are you a cash buyer or are you a mortgage buyer? If you're a mortgage buyer, do you have your pre-approval? Pre-approvals are valid for 2 months. When did you get your pre-approval? Is it expiring in 2-3 days or not? If they don't have a pre-approval and they're a mortgage buyer, you're wasting your time. Because by the time you find the property and the client goes and applies for the pre-approval, the property is gone. Tell him, let's actually take care of the pre-approval first. Find one of your channel partners who does mortgage consultancy. I'm sure your agency has that. Or if you have an in-house mortgage department, book them on a meeting, get them the pre-approval first, and then move on to the next step of actually looking for a property. After you get the pre-approval, you have 2 months, which is more than enough time to find the property, book it, and proceed with everything else, basically the payments. Is your Emirates ID expired? Because we had this happen to one of our deals. Is your Emirates ID expired? Is your passport expired? Are all your documents in place? Is this an investment or is this for yourself? And the golden question, guys, is for both rental and sales, what did you see before and why did you not take it? This helps you, without having to make it like an interview, understand all the deal breakers for them and make sure to not offer the same. What have you seen before and why did you not take it? Very friendly question, right? Oh, I saw this, but it was an open kitchen. So, my husband said, nah, we're not trying to do that. You know that they're not going to take an open kitchen. You've automatically crossed 3 of the things you were going to propose to them, waste your time, go for viewings. They weren't going to take it. This is literally a golden question. It helps you cross off 10 to 12 things off the list from the qualification questions. Gain your client's trust, which takes us back to the foundation of being a broker through being authentic and genuine. Gain your client's trust in order to offer them that space for them to be clear and honest with you about their appetite, about the size of their investment, how long they want to hold it for, when do they want to buy. For them to actually have that space to say that, they need to trust you. And trust comes from you being, first of all, knowledgeable. Of course, product knowledge is the key. It makes you or breaks you. And secondly, genuine and authentic. Don't sell a property because they're giving you higher commission. Don't. Because that way you are killing your pipeline, which takes me to my next step. Pipeline. Broker's least favorite word. I'm sure there's probably a statistic somewhere that says the least favorite word for brokers is their pipeline. The thing is, your pipeline is what guarantees that you have a backbone in real estate, that you have real estate as a career. And I say this because many brokers, real estate is not their career. Real estate is something they're going to join, close a couple deals, buy a car, leave, because they can't. Because they're chasing that quick deal. 2-3 months they'll close, and then after that they have nothing. Why? Because they don't have a pipeline. And I always say this to my team, that your pipeline should cover 12 months ahead. If your pipeline does not cover a year ahead, 12 months from today, then you're simply not doing enough money generating activities during your day. Through calling, through networking, through connections, referrals, you need to have things booked up until 12 months from now. Let's say you're a rental specialist. You call a client, they're telling you, oh no, my and this is actually how I did one of my first rental deals. My apartment is actually tenanted. It's going to be empty next September. 9 out of 10 brokers are going to hang up and write in the Excel sheet, tenanted, don't call. If you put on your calendar, call on 1st of September, ask about the property, add them to the broadcast list, send a follow-up message, send Eid greetings, Christmas greetings, whatever holidays there are, you are more likely to get that listing next September, which is 8 months from now. And the same thing applies to sales. Oh, I just moved to a new job, so I won't be able to get a mortgage until I've worked here for 6 months. Again, 9 out of 10 brokers are going to put that off, sign that off. It's a dead lead. If you're the one broker that's going to make sure you follow up 2 to 3 times in those 6 months and then reach out to them right before, what do you think is going to happen? What do you think the result is? It's a deal and it's a career in real estate. And that's how you manage to get inbound leads. That's how you end up not needing to call and depending completely on referrals. Because what does that even translate to this client? You're on top of your game. You're a responsible person who knows what they're doing. And me, as a buyer, as a client, as a landlord, I would love to give you a listing. I would love to buy with you because you care, right? And another point that I think people might think is benign or not so important is alignment. You always have brokers talking about how their goal is to, by the end of the year, make $1 million, buy this, do that. And if you go see their lifestyle, they're out partying every weekend. They're drinking every Saturday night, Friday night, and Sunday night. They wake up feeling sloppy. They're not eating well. They're doing takeouts the whole time. Does it even make sense for you to have that level of success if this is your lifestyle? Of course not. To be able to get there, you have to be there mentally, energetically, spiritually. You can't be here and ask for this and not want to fill the gap. You have to actually live that lifestyle of health, of abundance. You have to be aligned with your goals and aligned with your vision for them to come true. And if you don't do that, I don't think any of the tips we've mentioned will actually work because you're simply blocking it. Which again takes me to my next point, which is blockages. And it's sad. It is, because I have done this a lot. I have had a lot of one-on-ones with people on the team. And what I came to realize, people who put effort, people who actually do the legwork, are doing all the tips and tricks of following up, adding to the pipeline, it's not happening. It's always because of those two things: alignment with your goals. And the second thing is blockages. And I think you should really read Rich Dad, Poor Dad to understand this concept better. And after Rich Dad, Poor Dad, you should read The Psychology of Money. These books are life-changing completely. They have changed my perspective on money, on abundance, on success. People who come from lower middle class backgrounds or people who come from modest families have not seen that level of money, and moving from the initial level to the next level seems impossible to them, simply because their brains sometimes cannot comprehend, and it's very unfortunate, their brains cannot comprehend the fact that this is possible, right? And that right there is a mental blockage. And the good news is it's completely curable if you do the inner work, and if you actually increase your level of deserving and believe deep down that you are deserving of this abundance, you are deserving of this success, and you are more than capable to achieve it, then you've done yourself a huge favor. We're wrapping up on this note, and I hope this episode has given you value and motivation to go restructure, do the inner work, and achieve results. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow, like, subscribe, and share, and we'll see you on our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe, join the ride, Real Estate Real Talk, your guide worldwide.